We'll just wing it, right?
Just wing it, yeah, like
Yeah.
we always do.
Yes.
Professional wingers is what we are.
Are we right wingers or left wingers?
Hi everyone, it is Pete and Kate here with Remax, here for another market update for January 2025. So Pete, how is the market in January?
Well, in general, it's actually gotten back to what we would consider like a very normal balanced market. We are seeing sales especially over the last few weeks, sales are picking up, but so is inventory. So the sales to listing ratio is actually still sticking around the same. So I don't think we're going to see any massive price increases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If once we go through the stats, I think you're going to find that it's almost going to sound scary, but it's really only sounds scary compared to how crazy things were last year at this time.
Yes, exactly.
The reality is like sales are down, inventory is up and that kind of thing, but that just restores us back to a bit more of a normal balanced market.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, in general, like sales are down 12% from last year's January. So year over year, January versus January, we're down about 12%.
And the new listings is up, just like what Pete mentioned earlier. It's up 35.5% compared to what it was last year.
That's significant. Like,
yes.
you know what I mean? It's like when sales are down 12% and inventory is up 35.5, you would think that, the market's crashing or that, prices are going to come down. And it's just not the case. In fact, we're still, like if you looked at what our absorption rate is, we're still over 35%. We're hovering right around there. So we're still in a balanced market. So I don't think pricing will be going up or down all that quickly over the next little while. Inventory, but because like I said, if sales are down and new listings are up, inventory is actually up almost 70% from last year. Which again, like sounds crazy, but there just wasn't a lot of inventory last year. Like I remember thinking last year, man, can you imagine how many houses we'd be selling if we had houses to sell?
We'd be selling them like hotcakes.
But there weren't any.
No.
We had nothing. We had buyers, and we kind of go, like, do you want that one or that one? That's your two choices. And at that point, sometimes it's like, if you're out with a new buyer at that time, if you remember, the good stuff had been picked over. So it's like, well, do you want that dog or that dog's breakfast? They were both terrible. So what about months of supply? What are we looking at there in terms of?
Sorry, when you said dogs, I started thinking about my dog. But
yeah, you're thinking, what's wrong with my dog? My dog's, how old is it today?
14. My dog's gonna be 14 years old.
Today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
14 years old.
14 years old. He's grandpa now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yes. I searched it up. He's about around 70 years old in human years.
No, but is it a grandpa? Like, has it had puppies that have had puppies?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. He's just a senior. I guess I should have said senior. Anyways, sorry. So months of supply is also up. It's about almost 2.5 months now. So it's up 92% compared to what it was last year.
Can you imagine a 92% increase only giving you a 2.5 months supply?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I remember times, now I'm talking like an old realtor, but I remember times where we had like an 18-month supply. Now, mind you, that was a particular market.
Whoa.
That was 2-bedroom. I'll never forget this because I had a client wondering why his 2-bedroom condo in a concrete building downtown in the Beltline wasn't selling. And I looked and I said, well, we have an 18-month supply. So if we didn't list anything, we had a year and a half. Yeah, now we have a 2.5 month supply, and that's like 92% more than we did last year. So
that's insane.
Yeah. So but let's talk about how much are prices up or down then from last year?
Well, prices are actually up from last year. So the total residential price is up almost 3% at 2.8%.
Yeah, and of course that's not like that's January versus January.
Yes.
Most of that price increase happened earlier last year, not over the last few months. Prices have kind of stabilized a little bit now.
Yes.
Detached houses are selling for, the average is $750,000, which is good, and it's 7% up from last year. Again, most of that growth happened at the beginning of last year. But and I think is it the Calgary Real Estate Board that came up with their thing where they're saying they expect price increases of 1 or 2% or 3%
their
this year.
Market forecast?
Yeah, which I don't think they've ever got a good track record on their forecasts anyways. And as we all know, everything depends now on Trump, right? I mean, is he going to impose 25% tariffs, or is he going to, and it'll be 10% if he does impose them on Alberta oil and gas.
Right.
But then is he going to open up, Keystone XL again or some variant of it, which would be amazing. Like there's so many things. We're all just sitting around waiting to see what Trump's going to do next, and in terms of where the market's going. But yeah, detached are up 7% over last year. Yeah.
Semi-detached, they're up 8% compared to what they were last year. Same with row. Again, it's up again at almost 5%, 4.9%.
Yeah, apartments are still up from last year too. 5.5%. The average price of an apartment, and really, it's so crazy talking about an average price of an apartment in Calgary because the variances between a two bedroom condo in a new building, in a new concrete building is going to be entirely different than. A 2-bedroom apartment in a wooden building in Forest Lawn. So I always say, if you really want to know what your place is worth, get a hold of Kate or I, and just, even if you just sort of said, here's the address of my apartment. It was an investment at the time. We're wondering what the value is today. Has it gone up or down or whatever? Yes. We can pretty quickly give you a really rough idea without even seeing it. So, so averages are kind of like that. You kind of just have to, well, that's what the average is. You can see trends when you look at averages, but in terms of the value of your particular condo apartment, you're better off getting in touch with us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when we're looking at the different districts within Calgary, there's one district that actually outshined all of them, which is the South.
Yeah.
The South, it was a 5% increase year over year for their prices.
Yeah, and it's interesting because areas that took off like mad last year, like East Calgary, and that includes like the whole Forest Lawn, Dover, and Albert Park, and all those areas, the up and coming areas. To be frank, they were rocketing up last year. They kind of settled down to a 4.3%. The Northeast, which was killing it last year too, is down to a 2.5%. But that's still pretty good compared to downtown, right?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, downtown isn't even the worst. Downtown is up 1.1%, but the North was only up 0.1.
It's basically zero.
Yeah, basically zero.
It's 0.1 if to live in the north central area. So like, Harvest Hills kind of area, Panorama, that kind of stuff. Northwest is up 3.5%, and the West, which again, it wasn't killing it last year, but it's pretty steady right now. It's up about 4.5%, 4.3% or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the market update for January 2025 versus January 2024. Any questions about the market in the meantime, feel free to get a hold of Kate or I. And don't get a hold of Kate tomorrow. She takes the day off and just celebrates her Cujo, right? That's the dog's name?
His name is Bruno.
Yeah, Cujo. That's what I said.
Bruno.
Yeah,
and
Cujo.
I'm buying the cake. It's going to be a whole celebration. I'm so excited. Balloons,
how much does your dog weigh?
Party hat. I don't know. That's a great question.
Because my dog weighs 7 pounds.
Oh, yeah. He's probably like 9.
Okay.
9 pounds.
Yeah. So as you can tell, we both have massive dogs.
Yeah.
The difference is, her dog Cujo is basically a rat with giant ears, right? What kind of dog is it?
He's a Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. If anyone hasn't been introduced to my dog, it's a Eurasian boar hunter. You'd have to go on Wikipedia and look it up. It's an amazing. It's 7 pounds. It's fluffy. It's about this big, but it's been raised by farmers along the European-Asian border for centuries.
Totally.
To hunt wild boar, and it will. If you're
the
not,
face of a killer.
Oh yeah, it'll rip out your jugular before you even knew what happened. So it's amazing.
Oh, that's too funny.
Anyways, we always like talking to our clients, so feel free to call us anytime. Kate, do you have a phone number?
I do. It's 403-615-2346.
So young people still have phone numbers.
Oh, totally.
They don't just snap?
No, they don't snap.
Oh,
they don't Insta message or DMs or whatever.
You do all that too, though, right?
Yeah, I do, but I prefer call me instead.
Yeah. So, and if you want to get a hold of me, you can write me a letter. No, I'm joking. My cell number is 403-818-7310. 403-818-7310. Or as we say in Dutch, 403-818-7310. And you can, I'm not even joking, that's how we say it. Get a hold of us anytime, we'd love to chat. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and your families.
Bye, guys.
Bye. I think we killed that.
I know.
With one take.
Just
We're so
One
natural.
take wonders.
We are such naturals.